Welcome to Education World. Today we have with us Mr. Saurabh Modi. Mr. Modi is the founder chairman of the Neerja Modi School that was established in 2001, and it has 6 campuses in Rajasthan, 3 in Jaipur, 1 each in Jodhpur, Chittorgarh and Udaipur. Saurabh established the Shri Modi Shikshan Sansthan when he was just 25. Under this, the day-cum-boarding school was started. He's also the founder of Nischay, a community service initiative that provides education and vocational training to over 1,000 underprivileged girl children. This passionate educator believes in empowering local communities and fighting for sustainability on priority. He believes that there is a need to switch to curriculums that focus on employability skills, focus on teacher training to equip them with the 21st century skills, switch to pedagogies that develop multiple intelligence of students. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So schools are now opening after 2 years of closure because of the pandemic, and children are getting back to in-person classes. Do you think that hybrid learning could become the new norm in the days to come?
So I'm glad you asked me that question, but I think schools like us already had hybrid learning prior to COVID.
Okay.
Hybrid learning is a very sensitive word. It means, I think what you're trying to say is that some classes will remain online. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So online learning is an integral part of learning. As soon as video conferencing was available, I remember back in the years in 2005-06, we used to do video conferencing by way of Polycom.
Okay.
There used to be a video conferencing device. So remote learning has become more acceptable now, but I don't think in mainstream education, it has a very large role.
Okay.
Sometimes when the resource is very, suppose you had a very precious resource, you want to get that person online. But otherwise, teachers need to be with the students in person.
So, now that children are coming back to school, what are some significant changes that you see in their behavior? And, what are some ways in which schools can be addressing this?
It's very funny. I see no change of learning in the adults. The adults went into COVID, declared a complete ban on children's activities. While they went, I'm talking about the whole country here. Adults, as in people who are in position of power, people who are making rules, locked down schools for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And in the same 2 years, they started discussing learning losses, children's behavioral changes. All this is happening with adults. Nobody is talking to children in the middle of all this. This is adult creating news for another adult. As far as children are concerned, it's a completely different story there. Obviously, there are a lot of changes in the children behaviorally, psychologically. I get really anxious when people use the word learning loss because they think it's something like I can bridge that learning loss. It's not like that. It's a whole psychology. It's how a child is growing up, what they have learned. Some of them had online classes, so they learned some part of the academics. So it's going to be a very gradual shift in the children's behavior, and there will not be anything as coming back to pre-COVID. It's a new individual now. We are dealing with a person who's had 2 years of lockdown, is at a very young age, will gradually learn the in-person skills that we teach in a school like ours. So I don't want to have any judgment on the children. I think they've done a fine job at this age to have remained home at 2 years, switched to online, come back to a physical class, and deal with all the situations that adults created for them.
Correct. So, learning loss, like you said, is the buzzword that is being spoken about more often right now. But, when we talk about learning loss, the academics is one aspect of it, and the other aspect is about soft skills. This is something that children have not been able to get over the past 2 years. And what are some ways in which schools should be dealing with it?
So I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all formula. I think some children have not played sports, for example. Some children have not pursued their co-curricular activities. Some children have. So, some children, it's each child will have to be looked in as an individual, not as a COVID protocol. Each child will have to be identified that as to what that child has lost in these 2 years. There could be gains. None of you all are talking about COVID gains. In this time when children were home, some of them have pursued some skills of theirs, learned another skill. So there are gains as well. So therefore, I don't want to trivialize the whole situation as a learning loss or a gap that I can put in a bridge program and solve. It's not like that. We will deal with each individual. Schools like us should have sensitive teachers who look at each child, their situation, their unique lockdown situation, their unique opportunities, their unique challenges, and see if we can slowly and gradually make that person a better person compared to what they were pre-lockdown.
Correct. I think that's a very different way of looking at things, and it's very true. A lot of children have picked up different hobbies. Now, in these 2 years of closure, were there some special initiatives your school took to help children continue their sports and co-curricular activities?
So we did a lot because we felt that mental health and physical fitness is related. So we did a lot of fitness classes. We did a lot of sports. There's a lot of theory in sports that gets left behind when you start playing. The moment the child has a ball in his hand, he doesn't want to listen to the coach. He wants to run and play with that ball, whether it be cricket, football, basketball. So we thought, as my sports department, we felt fortunately for once we have the children without a ball in their hand. So we could teach them a lot of strategy. We taught a lot of sportsmanship. In this whole, when you have a ball in your hand, you want to take that wicket or you want to score that goal. You don't want to sit back and imagine that sometimes great sportsmen set great precedents and examples. If, for example, a batsman gets out, the umpire doesn't notice it, but he still walks out. He said, doesn't matter. I mean, the spirit of the game, you got my wicket and I'll go. We got lots of such videos across different sports. We showed it to children. We try to instill in them all that sports teaches us. Sports has become so competitive that somewhere in the process, everyone has lost the meaning of sports. We play sport for our pleasure. We play sport for our discipline. We play sport for life skills. And all that gets lost when I come and in person see children running after a ball or trying to score a goal. But yeah, it was a time that we got to show children different legendary examples where people have, in the name of sportsmanship, relinquished a victory or helped an opponent. Because at the end of the day, we are, it's about the sport. One of the gentlemen who came, I'm trying to keep it short, but the question you asked me is tricky, okay? So one of the gentlemen said, the one good thing about any sport is the next time you try and play it, you have a fresh life. So we do so many things in our life. We accomplish 6 campuses or 2 campuses. But in sports, you can play a match, you can do good deeds and bad deeds, and the next day you get a fresh match. Okay, so you can immediately learn what you had done from the previous match and apply it again. And the next day you can get it again. So it's a very rich thing compared to life itself.
That's true. So as far as your school is concerned, do you have any plans of infrastructure upgrades or expansions anytime soon?
Massive expansions underway as we talk.
Okay.
We have an international school coming up right next to our campus, which we should commence as early as November. And we are hoping to shift some of our children as early as Monday. We have a new school coming up in Ajmer. We have a lot of technology upgrades happening. So massive. Also people have realized in this time that their education is important. We all felt it. We didn't get education in its full form for 2 years. Now everyone understands that that's what I need for my child.
So the next couple of questions is just going to be one-word questions about you. So think of a philosopher that you admire.
So Barack Obama.
Okay. And can you tell us about your leadership style?
It's about empowering.
And one book on education that you would recommend that everybody reads.
it's about dialogue, Republic by Plato.
Okay, all right. This was a very interesting and insightful interview. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Modi.
Thank you, Reshma. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.